What is going on, everyone? You're listening to Bull Central here. So guys, as we await for free agency to officially begin, we as Bulls fans obviously are curious to see what the front office is going to do to make any tweaks to this roster. Now, with last night's draft picks, the Bulls are now at 14 guaranteed player contracts. With Otto Porter Jr. exercising his player option, which wasn't a surprise, and we all knew that he was going to do that, this puts them over the salary cap. Now, that being said, they do have some options for trades, or if they want to waive some players, to free up some salary cap space or take someone on at the mid-level exception. Now, the number one free agent this offseason, number one meaning the best player that is a free agent this offseason, is Anthony Davis. But as I discussed in my last video, he's not coming to Chicago. As much as I would love it, he's from Chicago, that's his hometown. It's not happening. I think it's possible, maybe a few years from now after LeBron retires, but at this point in time, it's not going to happen. He'll re-sign with the Lakers on a max deal, and he's going to look to win back-to-back titles, as much as it pains me to say, because I really do not like the Lakers. But here are some potential trade options or signings that are a bit more realistic, and I believe could really add some value to the team, at least position them to make the playoffs and set them up for the 2021 offseason, which is a much deeper free agency class anyway. So here are some of the other free agents this offseason. You have Brandon Ingram. He's a restricted free agent, and honestly, I think the Pelicans are going to match any offer that he would otherwise get from another team after the season he just had, so that he's out. You have Fred VanVleet, who I'm sure there's going to be some team that is going to throw a massive amount of money at him, say the Knicks by chance, so I would say that we would pass on that one as well. Then there's Montrezl Harrell, who honestly, the Bulls would likely have a shot in this being a realistic opportunity, but I'm not really for this move because you likely would have to overpay him just because he won the Sixth Man of the Year award, and I just don't think that that's worth it. Then you have Gordon Hayward, who actually just became an unrestricted free agent. He decided to decline his player option, which was interesting. Seems like he's pretty confident he'll be able to get a longer-term deal rather than taking that $34 million player option that he was owed, but he's really just not someone for this Bulls roster. It's not really what they're looking to do right now as an organization, is bringing on someone that is a bit older, a little more injury prone, and is likely going to still require a lot of amount of money. Then there's Bogdan Bogdanovic, who just pulled sort of the weirdest move we've ever seen in deciding to enter restricted free agency after the Kings and Bucks had agreed to work on a sign and trade deal for him. That's savage right there. I honestly would love to have Bogdanovic on this Bulls team. I think he's a great shooter that can really help spread the floor, but he's likely going to get paid a lot by some team, and not only do the Bulls not have the money, it wouldn't be worth it anyway, even if they did, in my view. And then there's Davis Bertans, the three-point sharpshooter out of Washington. He's an unrestricted free agent, and now this is one opportunity I think is very intriguing for the Bulls. The Bulls likely wouldn't have to pay big money for someone like Bertans, and he would probably be a great fit with the Bulls and what they're trying to do, and provides great shooting and floor spreading off the bench. People tend to forget this guy is a career 44% three-point shooter. 44%, that's just incredible. And in today's NBA that is so highly valued, to have a three-point shooting, you can't pass up on an opportunity like that. Now, he is a bit older. He's 28 compared to the rest of the Bulls roster, but again, if they can get him on a cheap deal, I am all for this one. Now, if the Bulls really do want to free up some cap space for any free agent signings, they'll have to consider making some trades. Now, I've talked about it before in one of my other videos, but honestly, I think the best value the Bulls could get in a trade is by trading Zach LaVine. Yes, I know LaVine is the Bulls' best player. He's really just hitting the peak of his prime, and guys, I really like LaVine, I do. But guys, listen, his trade value after this past season he just had is very high. And as much as I like LaVine, I don't think he's a franchise player you build around. He's not a #1 option on a contending team, maybe not even a #2 option. So if you can get a lot in return for him through a trade, I honestly think it's worth it. Again, I'm not saying just trade him for whatever. you keep LaVine if you can't get something good for him in return, like younger assets that you can then further build around. Or say he's included in a package deal for Bradley Beal. You know, everyone started going crazy when Bradley Beal tweeted about how he was happy for Billy Donovan when he was hired as the Bulls head coach. Obviously, Beal was coached by Donovan in college. Again, I think this is unlikely. The Wizards are not going to trade Beal unless they want to completely blow it up and rebuild. But really just using this as an example as a trade that I would think would be worth for Zach LaVine. Like I said, I don't think that Zach LaVine should be traded for just anybody or anything. It needs to be worth it, but I personally don't think that Zach LaVine is this franchise player that the Chicago Bulls would want. Might as well trade him when his trade value is high. And then obviously the other way to free up some cap space is if somehow they can move Otto Porter's contract, you know, in a package deal. But again, this is also unlikely. That's going to be a really hard contract to move. Otto Porter is extremely overpaid, and they'll likely just need to hold on to him for this final year of his deal, and then, you know, be left with a lot of cap space for the 2021 offseason, which, as I mentioned before, that is going to be the peak free agency offseason. Then, of course, you have Cristiano Felicio, who's still owed a lot of money. That is a god-awful contract, and I really hope maybe somehow they'll be able to move that or just potentially waive him. We'll see where that one goes as well. But, you know, anyway, I'm not sure Arturas will make any big moves this offseason. I think his likely course of action is maintaining the current roster as is, see how they perform under a new coaching staff, and really go all in on a big name in 2021 or make significant moves at that time. Anyway, that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Should the Bulls trade Zach LaVine? Should they hold on to their current roster and see how they do under Billy Donovan? Or are there other moves you think the Bulls should make as we head into free agency? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. This is a new channel. I plan to post consistent Bulls and NBA content, so don't miss out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.